Let me guess, your mates are starting to get smartphones and your grown-ups keep saying no. You're feeling left out, maybe even a bit annoyed. But before you roll your eyes and switch off, I want to tell you something that might flip your whole perspective. What if not having a smartphone quite yet wasn't holding you back, but was actually giving you a massive advantage? Well, in this video, I'm going to take you through what the science says about smartphones and developing brains like yours, the surprising advantages you'll gain by waiting, when the right time actually is for a phone, because this isn't no phones forever, and you'll also hear from 4 young people talking honestly about why smartphones aren't all they're cracked up to be. I worked at Facebook helping build the very features your friends are using on Instagram and WhatsApp, so I know exactly how these apps are designed to work. Let's dive in. So how do kids end up with smartphones in their hands? Well, before smartphones, life looked pretty different. If you had a mobile phone, it was probably one of those chunky bricks with a tiny grayscale screen. Calls and texts only. Music, we had portable CD players. Shopping, you actually had to go to an actual shop. And the internet was something you sat down at a computer to use. Then in 2007, the iPhone came along and changed everything. Suddenly we could access music, maps, games, friends, and entertainment, all from our pockets. It was powerful and exciting. Of course, everyone wanted one, including young people. This new tech spread like wildfire, and in the rush no one stopped to ask how might this affect childhood. Now nearly 20 years on, we're starting to see the answer, and for young people that's not looking great. Childhood is changing. Something's happening to children that no other generation has seen before. Kids today spend less time outside, less time playing, less time reading, less time moving, and more time on screens, scrolling alone. Check this out. This graph shows how much time young people spend with friends in real life. After smartphones came out, that line drops fast by about 65%. Smartphones have led to less hanging out, more feeling left out, and more loneliness. You might know someone who used to be really into football, or drawing, or riding their bike, but now they spend most of their time scrolling on TikTok, or messaging on Snap. It's not that they've changed who they are, it's just harder for them to find time for the stuff they used to love when their smartphone's always right there. And here's another one. It shows how anxiety and depression in kids have shot up around the world since 2010, right when smartphones started landing in more and more pockets. The more researchers look into this, the clearer the picture becomes. One study followed nearly 30,000 kids, the first generation to grow up with smartphones. And guess what? The ones who got phones younger were much more likely to struggle with their mental health later on. Smartphones also mean that extreme or upsetting content is often just a few clicks away. You don't even need to go looking for it. You've probably heard of mates who've been sent something they really don't want to see in a group chat, or seen it by mistake on social media. There are also the people you don't know but who want to know you. In one recent survey, more than half of children said they've been contacted online by a stranger. There are so many more problems that having constant access to smartphones and social media can lead to, from sleep to cyberbullying to that feeling of being constantly distracted. You get the idea. So if smartphones aren't helping kids thrive, why does everyone seem to have one? To answer that, we need to look at how apps on smartphones are designed and how the companies behind them make their money. Your time equals their money. Here's something most people don't realise. Social media apps like TikTok, Instagram and Snapchat, they seem free, but they're actually making serious money from your attention. The more time you spend on them, the more they learn about you, and the more money they make by selling that data to advertisers. That's why it's called the attention economy, and it's one of the most powerful and profitable industries on earth. In fact, a Harvard study found that social media platforms earn nearly $11 billion in advertising revenue from children and teens in 2022, and that's only American kids. It's big, big money. So to keep the profits rolling in, these companies hire huge teams of experts, psychologists, engineers, and designers, all working on one question. How do we keep you on our app for longer? And the truth is, they've cracked it. Snapchat streaks mess with your brain. Miss a day and the flame goes out, so you feel like you have to reply. Instagram's endless scroll works like a slot machine. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Your brain keeps wanting that next hit of something exciting. TikTok learns fast. Watch one funny or shocking video and boom, it shows you more and more and more. It's designed to keep you watching for hours. When you start to see how these tricks work, it's no surprise that the average UK teenager spends 5.5 hours a day on their smartphone. For some, it's as much as 12 to 16 hours. And this isn't just a personal habit anymore, it's become part of childhood itself. Because if everyone else is on their phone all the time, it's really hard not to be. Nobody wants to be the only one left out of the group chat or the only one who doesn't get the joke. So it's no wonder so many teenagers describe it as feeling like a trap. You want to stop because it doesn't make you feel good, but you don't want to miss out. And because parents don't want their kids to feel excluded, many end up giving their kids a smartphone, even if deep down it doesn't feel right. That's how we've ended up here, a world where it feels like everyone has a smartphone. just because everyone else has a smartphone. Smartphones and developing brains. We've already talked about some of the problems smartphones can cause, but there's something else, something deeper. Your brain is still developing. It's like a construction site, and it's learning what to focus on, how to connect with others, and how to feel good. These platforms train your brain to want constant updates, fast entertainment, and to always be checking in. And that makes it harder to enjoy the things that bring real happiness. Spending time with friends, building something cool, reading a book, learning a new skill, or just playing. Even adults struggle with this. Ask the grown-ups in your life, most will say they wish they spent less time on their phones, but still find it hard to stop. That's how powerful smartphones are. They don't just grab your attention, they hold on to it. Governments are starting to take this seriously. Some countries are bringing in new rules to protect kids from addictive design, but new laws take years, and by the time they change, you might be grown up. So it's up to us, parents, young people, families, schools, to stand together, pushing back against the tech companies' tricks and choosing to do childhood differently. Look, I could talk about this all day, but don't just take it from me. Talk to older teens who got their smartphones young, and a lot of them say, I wish I'd waited.
There are videos of people just dying, awful ways, and on X as well. There are people committing suicide. There are people getting hit by trains, jumping out windows. There's everything. It's so like mortifying to see this when you're just trying to like watch a video and you scroll past this and you don't know what's going to happen, and then it happens.
I currently have TikTok, but I don't really like it that much, just because I think it promotes a lot of things that young people shouldn't have access to. They seem to romanticize things like mental health conditions and body issues, which is making more people have those issues. It just makes people feel worse about themselves, looking up to these people with flat stomachs, and they think that they need to have that too. Yeah, I know someone who just doesn't come to school anymore because of how like social media's affected them, and I do feel really bad about that. She sent some photos she didn't want to, and they got sent around to pretty much everyone, and she's just really embarrassed about it.
So on your phone, it's like you're missing out on like just not even to going out and about, just talking to your family and just the act of talking. I'd go on them and then time would fly and I'd be like, oh, I've just spent an hour on this app, and then I just feel pretty rubbish, like I've wasted an hour where I can do so much stuff, because obviously I've got going into year 11, it's quite an important year. I could be revising or doing stuff that's like quite productive instead of just scrolling.
I don't know if you heard of like Snapchat streaks. It seems a bit silly, but in the sense of you have to send a snap or a streak every day. And again, it's like that addiction to it. It is kind of crazy as well, because I look through who I send streaks to sometimes and I'm like, I don't even talk to that person anymore. I'll be like, that person I did a drama class with a few years ago. That person I don't even speak to, but met them too. And that's the thing, you're not even speaking to them at all. And then it's the pressure to send a good snap, like in a weird, you're like, oh, okay, right, I'm going to do my streaks when I go to the pub, because then I can send a picture of my drink or my meal, and then it looks like I'm out doing something really cool. It's just stress that I don't need.
The thing that really stands out is how these young people realise they traded away their childhood for endless scrolling, and they can't get those years back. Well, what are you actually skipping? You might feel like you're missing out, but what happens if you're skipping the stuff that no one really likes? You're missing the mean comments and drama, the pressure to look a certain way online, and that weird feeling you're never quite good enough. And instead, here's what you're gaining. Better focus. While others are distracted, you can dive deep into stuff that matters. More real experiences. Instead of 35 hours a week on a screen, that's the average time 12-year-olds in the UK are spending on their smartphones. You get that time to explore the real world, discover new things, and really connect with those around you. Confidence in yourself. You're not constantly comparing yourself to other people, filters, and fake highlight reels. People skills. You're building real confidence talking to people face to face, a skill that lasts a lifetime. Real sleep. You fall asleep easier, wake up clearer, sharper, and ready to go. That's good for everything. Now, it's not all or nothing. You can still stay connected. There are simple phones that call and text, great for staying in touch without the addictive stuff. You can also use a computer when you need to use the internet. You just don't need a device in your pocket 24/7. It's about making tech work for you, not the other way around. Want to hang out with your friends? Invite them to meet up in real life. You'll be surprised at how many are relieved to have the chance to get off their phones and do something. So I bet you're wondering, when do I get a phone? Well, based on science and real life experience, we think 14 is a solid age for your first smartphone and 16 for social media. That way your brain has time to grow confidence, focus, and develop a strong sense of who you are, not what an algorithm wants you to be. And you know what? Many young people who wait say they don't even want to spend their life glued to a phone. They've found something better. real life. Despite all this, we know waiting can still be hard, but you're not alone. Thousands of kids across the UK and even more across the world are choosing the same thing, to go smartphone free for now, to spend less time scrolling and more time living in the present. Over 150,000 kids have joined the smartphone free childhood movement. That's more than the biggest ever crowd at Glastonbury's pyramid stage. So if you're holding off, you're not weird, you're not behind, you're actually ahead. You're part of a growing wave of young people choosing real life and true connection, and that's something to be proud of. You've got this, and if you have any questions, reach out, we'd be more than happy to answer them.